What's going on, guys? It's James, and we're back on Project RE, and we're here to reveal Project Ravenna Park. So we paid $750,000 for this property. We put $250,000 in the renovation. We just listed the property for $1.5 million. This property has been massively reconstructed. We took it from a 2-bed, 1-bath, finished 950 square feet, and we doubled the size and made it an 1,800 square feet, 4-bed, 3-bath with its own primary suite. We did a massive renovation with all designer finishes. So come take a look, and I'm gonna show you what we did. So first things first, this house, when we bought it, I love this property in general. It's on a dead-end street, it's in a great location, and also, as you can see, there's so much trees and greenery, you don't feel like you're in that metro city, which is great for resale. But we had to get the whole buyer experience drastically improved to what we were starting with. As you can see from the before, it looked tired, it looked old, the tree was suffocating it, there was no real formal entrance through. And don't forget about these things when you're flipping houses. How your buyer gets to the front door can make and break your deal. So we installed all new sod in the front, and then we installed a new pathway. Our designer, Megan Halter, she did a great job though. She picked the right pavers. It's all about the right materials, because as you can see, we have this kind of cool cottage style house. We don't want a modern paver coming all the way through, or new concrete, because it's gonna be a little bit harsh. So she did an awesome job picking out a 6x6 paver, running on a diagonal shape so it gives it this texture all the way through, and then bordering it to where the entryway matches the style of the house. The home was updated with an entire new roof, all new windows. We went with black windows because it's a more premium price at 1.5. It costs us on average about 30% more to upgrade these features, but it's worth it when you have a spread this big. Home was updated. Take a look, you guys, this thing's awesome. So one of the most important things when you have a charming house like this, you don't see a lot of style houses that look this way. It has this kind of cottage look, it's in the woods, it's special, and that's what we want the buyer to feel. They want it to feel separated from everyone else. Even if you drive down this whole block, you don't see many things that look like this. So you want to keep some of that original charm. So things that we did, even though we took it down to studs, is we kept even this closet through here. It had a cool, almost like a diagonal archway in here. We kept these original doors because they had so much character in them. We didn't want to rip that all out. And so don't rip the character out when you're working on these projects. Again, the entryway right here. I was torn on this because I wanted to go taller, not that I need it, but usually I want a big, bright, grand entrance, but this original angle, this is how this house was built, and so we wanted to keep that flavor. Now, a lot of the rest of the house got redone, but we wanted to leave some old charm in here. So when we first bought the property, honestly, I was a little confused. It was a hard layout. We had 2 beds, 1 bath over here. We had a living room in this section. This wall was actually back here, so it was too big. And then we had kind of a weird little dining space and a kitchen through there, and it just felt terrible. The flow was detrimental to the house. There was no way anyone was gonna buy this property, even if we updated the whole thing. So the first thing we had to do was create a primary suite to get the value out of it. We took the 2 bedrooms and we made a new primary with a walk-in closet and a bathroom, and then we were able to install our full bath into this section through here. This is gonna service the other bedroom and the guest in here. We reframed the entire thing. We got a tub in, all new tile, vanity. Dude, check out these floors. These are cool, right? Like, what does this remind you of? Talk about a cohesive renovation. It's like the entryway coming in. The outside is coming inside, and it looks great. I mean, even it kind of has the paver stone look, that design, it's all very cohesive. But back here, we took 2 little small bedrooms and we reframed them to get a nice size primary bed. Before, the bedroom was like 12 by 10, it was a little bit tight, didn't have a bathroom, didn't have a closet, wasn't gonna work to get us top dollar. So by combining the 2 bedrooms, it allowed us to get this nice walk-in closet, which is a major selling point for a Metro Seattle home. And then we were able to create this big, big bathroom to where we could get our own separate water closet, a double vanity sink, and then an extra deep shower in here. And this thing turned out killer. We were a little bit tight on space, so we went longer. And this is about 2 feet bigger than your normal size shower. And so even though we had weird space, we were able to work it correctly. And then as you're taking your shower, you get to look at your beautiful backyard, which we'll check out in a second. And it really came together. But adding this primary suite increased the value by nearly $150,000 on this property. If you don't have a primary in this location, they're gonna sell for about 1.3. We listed ours for 1.5. These amenities are the important things to look at as you're evaluating comps and buying a deal. This thing just turned out absolutely killer. I love the design that came through here. You can see it has natural warm tones throughout the entire house. From the outside, we have the green earthiness. As it comes in, that bathroom had a little bit of darker tones, earth tones, and everything's cohesive. This bathroom accents the other bathroom. The flooring. So on the flooring, we did a natural stone herringbone. The herringbone brings back that old eclectic feel, and the natural stone gives it that nice timeless finish. I really like how this bathroom turned out. We got the right shower, we got the right design. Our team nailed this one. So now that we have our primary through here, we had to rework this whole main floor. So one of the issues that we had is this was a wall before, and the stairs came back the other way. And the only way to get to your basement was to go through your kitchen and go down your stairs. And so as people come through your front of into your main living room, they had to go through a small kitchen, down here, and then back. That's not what we want. As you draw out a house, you don't want people going like this to get to their spaces. We want to make the flow down. So now by flipping the staircase, they have direct access in, and a huge impact that this also created is we had a doorway through here. So our kitchen was just very, very small in these two sections. By enclosing this and flipping the staircase, it allowed us to get a much bigger, almost double the size kitchen in here with a big U shape. When we looked at comps and we looked at the spaces, we knew the kitchen had to get bigger. This was probably the smallest that we could make it. And when we're walking through these potential deals, you have to think about that as you're triggering costs. To move stairs and bring it back the other way, that's a $6,000, $7,000 cost for us. But it's gonna create over $200,000 in value because there's no way someone's gonna pay us $1.5 million if they have to come through, go through the kitchen in a small kitchen, go down the stairs into the basement. It doesn't live well. And so when you're walking your properties, you gotta think about not just what you're gonna finish it with, but how does it live? Now on this side, we had this really cool window room, which we left, and this was a major expense for us. This one room was nearly 35% of our total window budget. We have 7 windows, and the whole house has roughly 20 windows in it. But it really created this ambiance. We installed French doors to open up into our living room to make it a flexible space. It could be an office, it can be a secondary living room, but we also set it up for a bedroom. Keeping your French doors, we installed a closet to give us that fourth formal bedroom. It turned into a really, really cool space. With the demographics that are most likely gonna purchase this house, they're gonna be tech, younger families. They're actually not gonna need this bedroom typically right now, but they do need a killer office from home. And so how we designed the house was so they could grow into it by adding the bathroom. They could service a bedroom, but we wanted to make this thing feel special because our buyer today is gonna most likely use that as an office. We also wanted to make sure they had a closet and egress windows because we needed a 4-bedroom to hit our $1.5 million count. So when you're laying out your floor plan, you want to look at your comps. What do the comps have? Where are the spaces? And then look at your demographics. Who's buying these properties? How do they live? What kind of kids do they have? And then design the plan around that. So a lot of time we spend is on the demographic, who's buying it, and then coming up with the right plan. So now that we reconfigured the house to where we have a formal primary suite, we got another bedroom, a bathroom, the kitchen got bigger, we have nice flow coming through. How we really increased the value was by adding 900 square feet in the basement with 2 bedrooms, the bathroom, and a laundry. So let's go down and take a look at that, because this is where a lot of the money was made. A lot of the value increase was the design and the upgrades, which you gotta do. Creating that primary suite, that's a huge value increase. Then doubling the size of the house is really where we make our money flipping homes. Before, the stairs came down, it was packed full of trash, you couldn't use it, and there wasn't any real flow out to the outside. It had this little small door. We installed a new slider, so when you come down, it feels nice, airy, and bright, and then we refinished this area for a bonus space and a new laundry off here because, so before, there was no access to the house from the garage. We want people to be able to pull in, come into a mudroom, drop off their stuff, and then they come into their bonus area. Now to get the value out of this house, we had to have a 4-bed, 3-bath. If we were a 3-bed, we would be selling for 1.35 million. So we relaid out the property to where we added a new bathroom in here, and we spent all the money down here. We did not spare any expense because it's one of the main bathrooms for 2 bedrooms. We upgraded all the floors with tile all the way through. We wrapped the tub surround, and then we put in an oversized 60-inch vanity sink because it's one of the main bathrooms that's gonna service these 2 bedrooms. We didn't want a small vanity. We wanted it to feel good and make it very, very usable for your other kids down here or whatever you have going on. They have that access point. We installed egress windows to get the bedroom count, and we finished it off with 2 bedrooms. So one thing that makes this property really special, and these are things that we're looking at with flipping homes. When we looked at this deal on paper and we were comping the houses, a lot of the comps were coming in at like 1.3, 1.35 based on the square footage. Now, there's a couple unique things about this property which are hard to find, and as a flipper, selling novelty will really get you that premium. The first thing is we're on a dead-end cul-de-sac street, not a cut-through street. In Seattle and in major metro areas, that's a rare thing. Many times kids can't go play in the street because there's cars buzzing by. This one is quiet. There's a basketball hoop out front. Kids can ride their trikes in the cul-de-sac. That's what makes it really, really special. The second thing that really enhances the value of this property is look at this privacy. You do not feel like you are in a major metro city right now. Your whole backyard is a green belt and it's all greenery in here. So when we bought the property, it was kind of overgrown to right here. It wasn't that usable. It kind of almost felt like it was falling off a cliff. So we expanded this out. We installed a paver patio so it becomes very, very usable. And who doesn't want to just hang out here, especially on a nice sunny day? You don't really see much of your neighbors whatsoever, and you have all this privacy. So the street it's on, it makes it very, very kid friendly. Then you have the privacy factor to where you come out, you don't see your neighbors come in the back. I mean, think of all the things you could do in your backyard. You should put a hot tub back here. But you get all the privacy, and people will pay you a premium for that, because if it's hard to find, that's how you get that premium price. Many houses of this size and bed count, they're selling 1.35. We're able to get 1.5 million because of the specialty that it has. Now, the negative thing is when you have this privacy in the short backyards, we didn't have much of a yard. So we did put in all new sod through this section, and then we demoed out this entire side yard that was overgrown, and we installed all new sod through this section to get the yard. If we do not have a grass yard, it can affect our value by nearly 5–10% in this neighborhood. Again, the buyer on this is gonna be a younger family or a family getting started. If they're having kids and they love that there's a dead-end street for the kids to play, they also need a grass yard to play in as well. And so we spent a lot of time leveling this out, putting all new sod in, because that's what the buyers need. And those are things and upgrades that you want to think about as you're doing your projects. What amenities are you missing? What does the buyer want? What's their needs? And then plan around it and budget up front for installing all these things. We thought about this all before we bought this property. It's all inside of our $250,000 renovation. Thanks for touring Project Ravenna Park, you guys. This thing turned out like a masterpiece. And now the fun time is, we listed for $1.5 million. It's time to get paid. For more walkthrough videos just like this, make sure you like and subscribe below, and check me out on J Dane Flips on Instagram.